How important are closing arguments in personal injury cases? Imagine sitting in a courtroom, hearing all the evidence, and then the final words from each side. Those last words are called closing arguments, and they play a big role in personal injury trials. When a person gets hurt and files a claim, the case goes through many steps, including presenting evidence, questioning witnesses, and explaining the law. But the closing argument is what ties everything together and leaves a lasting impression on the jury. It's like the final pitch in a game, where the attorney tries to convince the jury to see the case their way. During the trial, attorneys explain the facts, but in the closing argument, they get to summarize everything in a way that's easy to understand. They highlight the strongest evidence that shows the defendant was responsible and that the injured person deserves compensation. This is especially important because jurors might forget details or get confused about legal terms. The attorney's job is to make the case clear and simple, so jurors see why the plaintiff should win. Closing arguments also give attorneys a chance to connect emotionally with the jury. They can tell stories about how the injury affected the person's life, making the case more real and relatable. This is especially helpful in cases involving emotional or mental injuries, where feelings matter just as much as physical harm. Another key part of closing arguments is addressing what the defense said. The attorney can point out weaknesses in the defense's story and reinforce their own points. But it's important to focus on the strongest facts instead of trying to refute every minor detail. A well-organized closing argument keeps the jury engaged and makes the case memorable. The impact of a closing argument can be huge. A persuasive, clear, and confident presentation can sway the jury toward awarding damages. It helps them understand why the injured person deserves compensation for medical bills, lost wages, pain, and suffering. Attorneys often use visual aids or demonstrations during their closing to make complex ideas easier to grasp. In the end, closing arguments are a vital part of the personal injury claim process. They shape how the jury perceives the case and can determine the final verdict. A strong closing can turn a good case into a winning one, ensuring justice for the injured person.